Well, Kevin, here we are back on Zoom. I was hoping that we could totally avoid Zoom. I know, bummer. But, sometimes this is convenient enough for us to get a podcast put together, and getting physically together sometimes is really challenging. So welcome to the podcast. I'm Brendan.
I'm Kevin.
And
2 hours away from you.
Yeah, 2 hours away. And we are Loam Lander. This is our 16th podcast. Once again, I think I said this last week, but I am uberly impressed with the consistency we've had on our podcasts. So it's pretty fun. But let's talk backgrounds really quick because, we're on Zoom. We have two backgrounds behind us, so we might as well share what's going on with them. And then we can get into some of the conversation we wanted to have this week.
Yeah, definitely. I'll lead off, I guess. So Trail Forks, obviously everybody knows Trail Forks if they're a mountain biker. I was just messing around the other night and I was like, let's check out the Northwest. And I looked at BC and I looked at Oregon, and I think British Columbia had almost 14,000 trails just in British Columbia.
Wow.
Washington's obviously over 6,000, big dot right there behind me. And then Oregon was like 2,500. And this is why we live where we live. Mountain biking Mecca, pretty much. It's just such a great place to live for many reasons, usually because of weather. It's been hot for us lately and smoky, but it's just a almost year-round mountain biking for us. It is fantastic.
Yeah, honestly, we live in, I consider it the Mecca of mountain biking. Those in BC would quickly argue with us about that. And they have a very strong argument. I'd say that they probably would win that if they really, really pushed. But we have so many amazing trail systems, and I don't know, it's just awesome. We were talking with a new partner to our Loam Lander team this week, and he was describing to us that he might, want to move somewhere else, but they can't because this is where mountain biking is. And yeah.
Yeah, we're just called the Pacific Northwest, the PNW, right? Because I'll count British Columbia in that, and Oregon.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, and they're all within, 3 or 4 or 5 hours to get to just about anything you'd want to ride, including Whistler, which is the border's open. Have you, well, I know, but it's open enough that I've seen a few of our Instagram and some of our other friends go up and ride for a couple of days. Speaking of, one of our local Gig Harbor friends had a pretty gnarly wreck, and so it's
how's he doing? I didn't see that.
He's doing all right. So it is
Jaden?
No, Jaden. I can't think of Jaden's friend. Tyler.
Okay.
Yeah, so Tyler went OTB, I guess, and broke his collarbone and had a pretty substantial concussion. But sounds like beyond that, he's doing all right. So Tyler, good luck on your recovery. I know that's no fun. You'll be off the bike for a little while. Yeah, but once again, as far as places to go down, Whistler is a pretty amazing spot to go down. I mean, I don't know, that's probably a sacrilege. You should never say that out loud, but they have a good clinic there. We know from firsthand experience, and it's not a bad place to have a story about where your wreck was.
Yeah, very true.
So yeah, it's Pacific Northwest, man, we just live in such amazing spots. We really do. I really like this very bottom of the sound picture because those are some of my favorite trails because they're close.
That's your turf.
It is. It's our turf, but we love everywhere. We ride in some amazing spots. My background is pretty self-explanatory. It's the family. As we're on our last day of Maine, this is kind of what we do. Is we always take a couple doc pictures, and this is our doc picture, and it very appropriately describes our family. You
Christmas card right there.
Exactly. What's I don't know, ironic is not the right term for it, but we typically do the crazy picture the very best, and our supposed good pictures don't look so great. So I'll let you decide if this is our crazy picture or a good picture. Either way, it's a classic one, and we'll end up using it on something.
It's a fun picture. I mean, you're right. That is your family.
Yeah.
Each one of you have your own little traits and quirkiness, and just that shows them all right there.
Oh, it certainly does. Yeah. It's good. It's good times. It's just, it's nice to have some individualistic people in our family, although some days it's annoying. But that's all right. That's just how life goes. So, Kevin, on our podcast this week, you and I have been in the midst of a lot of excitement, especially through this process of working with in COVID to develop a product, to have it shipped to our customers and clients in a uniform manner. And we've run into a lot of things that I think are unique to the time that we're in, but also some lessons that we're learning that sometimes we just don't have control over aspects of a product, from manufacturing to delivery to getting it in the customer's hands in a timely fashion, or a fashion that we would expect to have as a growing business. You and I both come from a very customer centric style of operating, where to us the customer is very, very important from beginning to end. The experience from looking at a product to buying a product to receiving that product. You and I both have a lot of experience in making that a very exciting and good transaction, and we're learning a lot. That's what's been very interesting about this process. But what are your thoughts about some of this, dealing in a COVID era with a non in-house, as far as not in-house, that's not the right words, but not having a manufacturing facility that we own and that we are, in control of?
Yeah. So there's many challenges. And actually, I'm going to go back to my dad as a kid. I used to be like, hey, when's it going to get here? Like if I ordered something in the mail, and he always said slow boat from China.
Right.
And I was like, whatever. Well, now I know that. Right. As a kid, you're like, stupid dad joke. Slow boat from China is actually a real thing.
It is.
Found out, right? I mean,
right.
It's been crazy. It's often hard to communicate because neither side has information. It's in the water. It's stuck at the port leaving. It's stuck at the port arriving. Not enough truck drivers. The port is sick from COVID. There is so many different factors that kind of ties into every single movement of our product.
Yeah, it is just wildly. It's just so interesting. It's we have at our factory, we have some very key partners that we work specifically with, and what's interesting to me is sometimes how even those key partners aren't aware of what's going on after it's left their facility and gone into the transport situation. We just discovered yesterday that in June, one of the largest ports where our products are shipped out of, they had a COVID situation where the port was shut down for a couple of weeks. And our facilitator didn't necessarily, if they knew, they didn't share a lot of that information with us, or they may not have known. But some of those things that are just so out of your control, you just kind of are stuck with a situation where it's in that transport, and like you're just saying, it's kind of one of those things where in the transport is it? Has it left? Is it sitting in a warehouse somewhere? Where's it at? And it's just been really interesting. I don't know.
We've been very upfront, I feel, with our customers, right? Even on our webpage, and we're going to maybe even increase some of those days on there. But roughly this how many days it takes to get your airbag. And we try to keep the communication open as much as possible so they know what's going on. But there's often times where we don't know. It's the exact same thing I told you 2 weeks ago. It's on the water or in the port. We have 2 airbags coming in, and they're in the port for almost a month. Mm-hmm. And did not move, but we tracked them to the port, but they just didn't have enough people at the port and trucks and everything to get it delivered from the port. And then they're supposed to arrive. Out of the last minute, they called you and said, hey, they're going to arrive. And they didn't arrive. They're just, the tracking is very challenging, I feel, is the biggest challenge, I guess, out of all of it. It's just, it goes back to customer service. We want to communicate to our customers of, hey, this is where your airbag is. Plus, it's fun and exciting when you're placing something and you're like, oh, it's like almost here. I look at my phone all the time if I order a part for my bike or, whatever else. And it's like, oh, it's showing up today, so I keep an eye out for it. And the airbag, the same story, but wins at showing up has been the challenge.
Yeah, it has. That those airbags you're just talking about. I lucked out in that I had a really cool like transport dude, the guy that was kind of arranging all the transport to talk to, and he's probably overly busy, and maybe he was just sick of people not being friendly, and so we had like a really brief, like just nice conversation about all this craziness that's going on. And he's telling me, he said, "Hey, your shipment is currently set at a 2-day delivery. So it should be there by Friday," which was 2 days ago. He's like, "But don't hold your breath." He's like, "Everything is just crazy right now." And I said, "Well, what's going on with it?" And he said, "Well, we have kind of this perfect storm of all these things that are happening, and it just is kind of a jumbled mess. And once again, you can't fix one thing without fixing the next thing, without fixing the next thing, and they kind of all take time for that to work." And I think that's going to be a reoccurring thing for all of us. I mean, I think we're experiencing that in all aspects of our life. Obviously, as a new company, we don't want necessarily for this experience to be, a bad experience, or not even a bad experience, but not the premier experience that we are expecting it to be. But we also have to remember that this is not unique only to us. This is everywhere and in all facets of our environment. And it's just interesting.
All the way down to the grocery stores. Have you been to those lately? The shelves are empty, or they usually have 10 facings of something, and now they have 2.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's not a time I think that we should ever be panicked or scared, but it's just kind of an aspect of, this is a relationship of how we are as a global society and how things all mesh together, and it will clean out. It will get better. When that date is, I don't know. And are there people or organizations that are making it more challenging than it should? Maybe things happen, but you just kind of just keep on keeping on. And then that's where we're at with our loam landers and our products. And we have so many things in our design queue, and so many different products that we're working on that we're pushing forward. And this is exciting. And I think that's something for all of our listening base to really understand it. While our podcast today is kind of more on that, here's what really goes into running a business like this, that it's not just simple. It's not just you're designing a product getting built. You have to think about all the other logistics that go into it.
And so much back and forth on just, sometimes it's a simple thing, but it needed 15 back and forth messages or emails or tracking and just chasing down the answer. And sometimes no one has the answer, but we're all working together to achieve some kind of answer on it,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that one of our strengths is that you and I both are open style people. I learned a long time ago that I was usually caught whenever I got in that chain of telling that white lie or that little fib. And so sometimes I get to the point where it's like, I'm just happier being completely open with everything that's going on rather than not, on purpose, trying not to lead on our client base or anyone else. Just say, here's what it is, here's what's going on. And we're working on whatever the fix is to make it better.
Definitely. You mentioned before that making it better might take a little bit of time, but we have some things in the works to promote our customer service the best we can. Right. I mean, we have some fun things that we're working on as well on the side to assist with the situation, and finalizing all that. So we'll have that shortly, and just kind of keep on moving forward. Like, it's exciting, all the little different avenues that we're working on and different design features and personal goals for the company and just everything in general.
Yeah. It's super fun. So, Kevin, that is enough about shipping. It's going to be just one of those things. We're going to deal with it and we're going to figure it out. And we apologize, out loud and proud to our clients about that. But unfortunately, we just can't do anything. We're stuck. And don't have shipping cause you not to buy an airbag, because these are fantastic. And I promise you the wait is well worth it. It's absolutely worth going through the pain, because the pleasure is pretty awesome.
Definitely.
So, Kevin, you and I were in a meeting this week. We were talking once again with a new partner of ours, and we were really dialing in and talking about what a loamer is. We've talked about loamers a lot. We've talked about Team Loam Lander. We've talked about all those different aspects of what that is, and I think that it's really starting to come together. We have not on purpose, but we didn't really know at the beginning what it was going to be or where it was going. And I think that we have a purpose now. At least that's how I feel about it. But
Yeah,
let's talk a little
trending
bit
in the
about.
right direction, right? I mean, it's just fun and exciting.
It is. It's super fun. We're going to spend maybe after we kind of describe what a loamer is, let's talk about the last Northwest Cup race. You and I both weren't able to attend, but that doesn't mean that the loamers and Team Loam Lander didn't have like a crazy, amazing experience. So,
Great
yeah, it's
presence
just
as
amazing.
always.
It was. So why don't you just kind of recap what a loamer is and why we are doing this? I mean, what's the purpose?
Yeah, so obviously we started Lone Lander, right? Airbags. And we are all going to the races. So we are like, well, let's have a Team Lone Lander team. From there, we came up with the Loamers. Loamers, hashtag Loamers. Um, Loamers is a group of riders, more of a family group of riders. Doesn't mean we're direct family, but we're all family. We ride together, we help each other. Um, Exclusive club, is that? I don't know. It's just kind of a fun group to be with. We have some things that we do to help support our loamers that are on our team, but it's more than a team now. It's kind of developed into a group of athletes. It's a group of people who want to, kids and adults, who want to achieve more within mountain biking. And so we can help guide them, assist them the right direction on some choices.
Yeah.
And it's so, I'm being kind of vague and not intentionally. It's just there's so many avenues that it's kind of developing into, and you and I are both constantly, in a sense, rewriting, reworking those. But it's been a lot of fun. There's been a lot of support. We're still a small group, and that's how we want to keep it. We don't want to be this massive team that has 200 riders, but we're a small group. We're a small family out there riding and traveling and just having a really good time. And I'll let you just continue on from there.
Yeah, I think that you're saying it, really the best word you've been using is kind of the development, really. We talk about airbag progression all the way through, and we're trying to process that through the whole aspects of Loam Lander. What is the progression of a loamer? And we've kind of just discovered by either accident or by a lot of your past expertise is that we have some abilities to help develop riders in the next steps of their own personal progression. And that's not referring to their riding skills, but some of their progression in contacts with additional, sponsors or partners for them as an individual to continue to excel in their riding.
The how and the win, right? As a rider, if you are trying to get sponsored, you don't reach out in March and ask for a full sponsorship because they did their budgets back to October. So it's the timing, the win. What are you going to give that company, right? Anybody can say, hey, I want a free bike. Mm-hmm. Okay, but why should they give you a free bike? Just because you're a good rider? No, you can be the best rider, and they may not want you on your team because you're not a good person. Or, everything right now is so much Instagram and Facebook, social media. That direction is, if you don't have a good social media following, that's probably going to be a quick no. Now, Pink Bike Academy is actually tons of fun to watch. So go back and watch all the episodes. That is actually a really good example of kind of what you need to do to be pro or to be even just sponsored in a grassroots program or full.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you and I have experienced this through the Loam Lander. We're frequently reached out to by, a lot of different people that would like to have some relationship with Loam Lander, whether that's a lander that they can use or an opportunity to spend time on the Loam Lander team. And there's so many aspects of that relationship that go hand in hand. We as a company, we don't have the resources to just hand our product out to everyone or hand out the opportunities to everyone. But there are times where it makes sense for us and for whoever is asking for that style of relationship to make that a relationship. And that's where we're seeing the loamers go, is that the loamers is an opportunity for us to help the athletes that are riding to continue relationships with us, continue relationships with other brands and other companies, and to really start to grow their own little niche and their desires with it. But you're right; it's not made for everyone. And honestly, most of us, unless we're really into it, we don't really want all that goes into being a sponsored rider, because it's not just getting free stuff.
Yeah, you don't get free stuff and you're done. There's so
Right.
much more in the back end that you still have to do. It's just here comes. I want a free bike. Should X bike company give me a free bike? In my mind, yes. No. No. It doesn't matter if I was the best rider, right? If I didn't have a good social media, or if I was just a rude person in general. Especially be good to the young kids. You have to be a coach moving forward. Which is also another aspect that we've talked about in the future of bringing that on, the coaching abilities. So teaching these younger riders how to become a coach. That's another source of income if you are trying to go pro. And you see a lot of these pro riders now, and they're doing an amazing job coaching on the side.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, there are so many opportunities right now for those that are really ingrained in the mountain biking world to continue that love and passion. And so we want to really help those young riders, especially that are associated with us, to be able to continue that if they want to. And so that's kind of the development side of Loamlander and the loamers. And it's a work in progress. And we have some extremely talented individuals that are riding for Team Loamlander and would be considered a loamer. And it will grow over time, but you're right. It is kind of a unique, club isn't the right word, but a unique situation, because we are small. We can't facilitate a huge organization that way, but we can facilitate a few. And so it's super exciting.
Definitely is. But that takes us right into our next part that we should talk about. The last Northwest Cup, which we were unable to attend. You just got back from vacation. And I did too. I went on vacation, which we talked about in the last podcast. So let's talk about our riders. And we had a good 4 or 5 riders out there.
They did awesome.
I'll let you pick and just run with one, and I'll run with the next. And
let's talk Jake.
Okay.
So Jake is one of the younger loamers. Jake is super talented. We've talked about Jake in lots of other podcasts. Jake, obviously a close friend and a very, very huge part of the Loamlander family. And his family, of course, is a very huge part of the Loamlander family. We'll talk about all of that as we get further in. But Jake had a great race. Jake stepped up to a new bike on 27.5s. He's off of his from 24s. Huge difference. He is riding Cat 2. So he as an 11-year-old is just killing it. Came in 4th, which is awesome. And I guess he had a situation where his feet came off the pedals and he had a complete stop. So to come in 4th with a complete stop, that's crazy. That's good. Good job, Jake. And this next race is his for sure. I mean, he
has like his speed's unreal,
right?
His cornering, and then just his attitude. He's just back giggling and having fun, and
he is a happy kid all the time. And I'm sure that his parents would say that there are times that he's not, but every single time I'm around him, it's the best thing ever is whatever's going on in his world. This is the best sandwich ever. Yeah. This is the best sandwich I've ever had. This is the best riding I've ever had. This is the best, whatever. But no, Jake is a good example of a prime loamer.
Let's go Chris Jorgensen.
Yeah, Chris Jorgensen, one of the elder.
Just kidding. I think I might be older. We're right around the same age. Again, top podium. So
that's
he's
awesome.
Cat 2, 40 plus.
Nice.
And a top podium in Montana. He's been top podium multiple times, and he's doing great for an overall, maybe with Northwest Cup too. I don't know how they do their full overall standings. So you have to attend all races. But I know he's been on podium at, I believe, every single Northwest Cup.
He has.
And he's attended. I don't know if he's necessarily the leader. Obviously, he's married to the leader of the Jorgensens.
We all know our roles, right?
Yes.
It's usually it's going to be our wives that make everything happen, and sometimes we get to take a little credit. So, yeah, yes, exactly.
No, anyways, just a great family, also, right? And that's part of the Loamers. Chris, the old man, landed on top of the podium. Great job. Wish we were there racing too, but we'll see you definitely at the next Northwest Cup. For sure. That's awesome, Chris. And I mean, it's just so cool. It's kind of what makes the family aspect of our Lone Lander teams so amazing, is that we can have these experiences with our kids, and we can even show them how it's done sometimes. Although I'm sure that he would quickly say that his sons are probably a little faster or a little more skilled in certain ways. I definitely would say that about my boys, but yeah, it's crazy. While we're on the Jorgensen train, let's talk about Kevin. So Kevin, he broke his arm or hand, or did something a couple of months ago. It was too gnarly for me to look at. For those of you that don't know, I am not the person to come to with a broken arm, broken wrist, split lip, whatever it is. I'm not your guy. I didn't even see the pictures, but I heard they were pretty gross, and I'm glad that I didn't. But Kevin is a professional through and through when it comes to his riding. He is the grand champion of one arm bunny hops. So he beat every single other contestant in a bunny hop contest using one hand. That's insane. It's just crazy. Yeah, he borrows Caden's bike and out bunny hops everybody. His hardtail, right? His dirt jumper. Oh my goodness. And he wasn't even his bike, and he out jumps everybody one-handed, maybe one and a half handed. I don't know what it is, but it was up there. Whatever it was pretty impressive. In fact, Caden being Kevin's, I'd say probably his best friend. They are two peas in a pod. Caden wasn't so happy about that because Caden was working with two hands, and it's not that Caden didn't have an amazing weekend, because he did. And we'll talk about him in just a second. But yeah, I mean, to win that's crazy. Yeah. So you were just telling me a story earlier off air about that jump contest. Why don't you share that now? Yeah. So I don't know the exact details, but what I do know is one-handed Kevin, bunny hop contest, got a whole bunch of prizes. Volcom and I think others jumped in for that, and which is really cool that they gave prizes for not the race, but kind of like a fun event within the race, right? Mm-hmm. Those are always fun and exciting, and everybody wants to watch those. And he won a whole bunch of prizes. Shout out to Volcom. There's probably others in there too. And then Caden, who actually won junior X Pro. That's huge. His time was so fast that if he raced pro, he would have been in second place. That's insane. That's amazing. And he got a cup saying, congratulations, you're first place. Kevin did a bunny hop and got a whole bunch of stuff. So Caden's cup is really cool. It is a first place, but he got him a little 16-ounce pint glass. And Kevin got a whole bunch of stuff. That's funny. Caden, though, and another great kid's the wrong word. I'm sorry. I know he's 15. He's still a kid at 15, He's still a loamer. There you go. That's right. Really talented loamer. Just a good person. He wants to help out the younger kids. He's fun. He's fast. He's fun. He's just another good human being. That's which is part of the loamers. And another first place for him. He is flying all the way around, and things are going great for him. Yeah. Is he going to Russia? Or I know he got invited. I don't believe so. Yeah, because that was this last weekend, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. But to have an invite alone is pretty amazing. And what that was World Championships. Yep. So I know his goal next year is actually to hit all as much as he can, the national level worlds. So across the United States. That would be a
just amazing and good for him. That's awesome.
Or I guess it'd be national, not world, it'd be the national races.
Yeah, but those lead to the next steps. And if he wants to take it that way, he definitely has the talent to do it.
Yep.
It's crazy.
And the attitude.
He does. I mean, he's good, just a good kid.
So how's the loamers out in Montana?
That's awesome. Well,
I didn't ride there, but I had a really good time on my anniversary.
Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes we make decisions that are good for our families at those times. And those, I know a kid-free trip for me is really, really high on my desire list. I love riding, but sometimes the kid-free trips trump anything else.
You have one coming up though, don't you?
Tatum and I are going to do a little day something in October, but I get to next week go to a work conference in Minnesota, Wisconsin, of all places. So yeah, This is a little group of colleagues that we get together a couple times a year, and we choose random spots to go, and this was just one of those random spots. So we'll see what happens.
Okay,
old Milwaukee. It should be fun.
Okay,
should be fun.
Right.
So, well, Kevin, I think that that's a lot to talk about in our little podcast. We certainly are grateful for the chance that we have to do this Loamlander experience, and we hope that our excitement about it continues to be shared, whatever. To be, hold on, let me pause for just a second. We hope that our excitement about Loamlander is shared with you, and that these podcasts are a device that we can use to help you as our customer, hopefully, or even just our friends or our listener to kind of see where we're going. And that, this is a fun experience, and it comes with its challenges, but it's certainly really, really fun to do.
So much more than just airbags, even though we are airbags.
Yeah, it is. And it's not evolving or changing. Our focus is airbags, but we just have so many plans, and it's super, super fun. But with that, I think we as Loamlander are ready to call this episode done and say adieu, and that Loamlander, we're out.
See you next week.